So I was in the city today and a guy stopped me and he was like, "Hey, do you have 2 minutes to talk?" And I was like, yeah. And he's like, "Are you free on Sunday to come to church?" And I said, "Unfortunately, no, I'm not." And he's like, "Can I just say thank you for stopping?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And he's like, "Oh my God," he's like, "I loved your tattoos." He's like, "Did they have any significant meaning?" And I was like, "Well, this one is the chakras." And he's like, "Okay." And I could tell he was a little bit confused. And I was like, "They are representative of the energy centers in the body." I was like, "I'm a spiritualist. So my belief is like we have, these energy centers in our body, and, each one of these chakras represent them, and they all have different uses and benefits to us as people." And, it kind of then connects us to, in my mind, it helps us connect our energy to the divine. And he's like, "Okay," he's like, "Are you a Christian?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Oh," he says, "Are you Catholic?" And I said, "No." I was like, "I'm a spiritualist." And he says, "What is it that spiritualists believe in?" And I was like, "Well, we believe in a divine creator and a higher being, and that when we pass on, we go to the spirit world." I was like, "And in the spirit world, we are united and connected with our loved ones, and there's no pain, and everything is at peace, and, the spirit world are there, and it's this divine thought or this divine consciousness that kind of is in this spirit realm or dimension." And he said, "That's really funny." He says, "Because we believe when you die that you go to the spirit world." And he had a badge on, and it was Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I've never had a chat with, he was American, I've never had a chat with anyone from that religion. And it was so nice that he asked questions, and he asked about my other tattoos. And I said, "Oh, well, I got the Holy Trinity." I was like, "And the roots that lead to a tree, and the tree leads to mountains, and the mountain leads to a phoenix." And the idea is that the divine, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, or just the unity of people and family and love. And then the roots grow from that thought up, through the roots are us representing growth in life and the struggles and the journey that we take. And the mountains are the difficult times that we cross, and in amongst the mountains on my tattoo are lightning bolts, and those signify difficulty and struggles and unexpected, turns in life. But at the end of it all, the phoenix is we rise from the ashes and we are reborn. So that was always the idea of the tattoo. And so talking to this guy was really interesting, because he had someone that recognised the belief of the afterlife, but in a completely different way. And he's like, "Do you have in any way a contact detail?" He's like, "That we can stay in touch." And I was like, "Unfortunately, no. I'm not one for giving out my personal details, but thank you." And he says, "Thank you for taking the time to stop." And I said, No, thank you for taking the time to ask." And we found a common ground. We found a common ground, and I never ever thought that would be the case. And so I suppose the lesson in that is not the journey of my tattoos and what they represent as a reminder to me for life, but the tattoos the conversation with him represents that sometimes stopping and taking time to speak to somebody different allows us to see insight in a different way and realise we are all more connected than you realise.